Well, we're gonna pick things back up at Arlington National Cemetery, where Desmond and Andre have decided to reconvene after their forced separation. One took the sewers while the other took a more direct route, since they had the ability to merge with the background, as it were. So, if you guys would both roll me just a d10 just to see who arrives first. Just add a bit of chaos.
Roll initiative. Seven.
So, Desmond, you arrive first. Is there anything you do to kill time while you wait for Andre?
Other than his typical mannerisms when he's going into a new open area, just kind of surveying the region and sort of trying to find avenues of exit and places to watch. He doesn't really do much. He just kind of sits and stalks and tries to blend in as much as possible.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception roll since you're keeping an eye out.
Sounds good. One success.
I mean, it's a typical day at Arlington. You see people, there's definitely tour groups, seeing the sights there. There are people here. It's not busy by any stretch, though. Especially in comparison to years past. It's wide open, so sort of what you would expect.
Right.
However, also with one perception, there is a faint, odious smell upon the air, which does eventually direct your attention upwind, where it would be coming from, to see Andre approaching.
I thought it would be the Potomac. He gives a nod to Andre as he approaches.
Oh. You don't want to know where I've been.
Anything that we should be immediately worried about?
Is there anything that I'm aware of, given the police and general panic that was in the area?
You're I don't want to say you're far from the city, but there is a bit of distance between where you are and what you would classify the city proper. Anything that you can hear is in the distance. There does sound like there's a lot of warning sirens going off. There definitely seems, the city definitely seems to be in high alert.
I don't suppose that's from us, is it? Desmond asks Andre.
At the risk of sounding like a drunk college girl at the party, I think it's all about us.
Well, that complicates matters in grouping up with the others. But either way, we still need to find out if they're right.
You hear from them yet, Sitar?
I haven't heard anything.
So who's gonna make the phone call? Who was it that was making the phone call once you guys got to Arlington?
I think it was Andre. Who was...
Oh yes, yeah, because I alleviated someone's phone. So yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll call. I'll try them all to start with Adrian. He's probably the most likely to answer.
So, I'm going to say, just for clarity's sake, this phone call's going to arrive once you guys have arrived back in the boiler room. Adrian, is your phone in any sort of way that you would know that it's ringing?
I mean, it's probably not on silent.
On vibrate, at
needs
least?
to vibrate, it's not.
You are getting a phone call from an unknown... it's not an unknown number. It lists the number, but you don't recognize it, but that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Do you answer it?
Well, I will answer it and just, he actually got a number this time and not just a mash of the keyboard.
Is it
What?
the suits again?
I mean, I probably recognize the voice, right?
As soon as Andre
And then-
speaks, yeah.
Yeah, okay. This individual, this man, what do you want?
Yeah, it's great to hear from you too. That's the thing I like about you. You're always so optimistic, so happy with everything. Where are you?
Still on Earth, I hope. If
Uh,
you called me about 20 minutes ago, I couldn't tell you that much.
Okay, then I just thought you were being facetious. Now I'm intrigued. Where do we meet?
Rick and Alice, you can hear Andre's voice from the other side.
Where do we meet?
Adrian's he's not gonna. He's just gonna, give me 1 second. We're moving through some things right now, and he's gonna kind of move the phone away from directly next to his head and just kind of like what do I do here?
Well, as long as we can meet somewhere and their new friend isn't with them.
How quiet are you trying to keep that, Rick?
I don't care I don't care who hears that.
Okay. Andre, then you hear Rick's voice in the background.
He isn't. Delroy, he's not with us. Just me and Desmond.
All right, then you'll tell us about your conversation later.
You don't want to have him explain it now before we go walking up to him?
Oh, can't throttle people now.
Are they saying anything, Andre?
Yeah, they're threatening to put it on speaker. Threatening to strangle us for making a deal with someone that apparently wants to help us. As opposed to the people who were shooting at us.
Understandable. But we didn't make any deals with anybody.
No,
We were
but
amenable
apparently,
to it.
absolutely. But apparently Rick has taken it as a great personal insult.
Well, if you are just alone and want to stay that way, I don't know where's a good spot. Where even are we right now?
You're in the boiler room.
Well, yeah, kind of saying that just openly, just because, yeah, I know where we are, but where are we?
You're the one with the Google Maps, but you're, using your phone right now.
Well, hold on. Can't you? You can go to Google Maps with a phone call on, right? He's gonna.
Yes.
The GPS takes a little bit. You are a little underground, so it does take it a little bit, but it is putting you where you would expect to be in the Hill East region. So you're assuming that you're underneath the correctional treatment facility, where you should be, not in the middle of Antarctica like it was saying about 20 minutes ago or so.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you right now? I can find a middle ground.
Look at Desmond.
We can just give them a separate, different place to move around to. Or we could use the Twitter. Or what was the social media that we had before that we used?
You had mentioned
Instagram.
Twitter. Oh, I wasn't.
Instagram, yeah. You do like the
Instagram.
random photos. Yeah, the random photos of where
Yeah,
we
we
can
can just
meet.
use that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll suggest somewhere close by enough, but moving away from our current location.
Let's see. Looking at the map. I mean, kind of right in the middle is the Thomas Jefferson Memorial.
That'll work.
That works.
That seems awfully public.
There's tourists. Why do you want silence?
The best place to hide is in a public place.
For you.
Adrian's gonna look around at the two people next to him, look at himself, and
Oh yeah, I think that entire group has conspicuous
not
appearance of
say
three.
anything, but just I don't think that's the best idea right now. Not after you alerted the entire city with that police chase.
Okay, so somewhere quiet, somewhere we can talk.
I'm just gonna like zoom in, a couple blocks down the road in a random like alley and just any random street, just maybe somewhere not that open in public.
Or like a dump yard or a trash collection point or something.
I don't think those are gonna be in the city.
It would be on the outskirts. Or at least across the edge. I know a DC has a couple that are not in residential areas.
Dump map. Alright.
This is what happens when so many people have conspicuous appearance.
There's a dumpster rental next to a Papa John's in DC.
That's a
There we
great
go.
place
Let's
for
go to Papa John's.
Listen,
It's like the next best thing from Waffle House.
the dumpster rental next door.
And then we find out the Waffle House is closed.
Oh no.
That's bad juju right there.
Waffle House is just
closed.
slot machine infrastructure. Anyways, I could just stare at this map for an hour trying to come up with a logical meet point, but I'm just gonna in character say I suggest something and
Break into the closed Waffle House.
All right. With a meeting place decided, Rick, Alice, and Adrian. Obviously, once Adrian has recovered his manticore, do you guys head straight there, or do you take a moment after the phone call has ended to discuss anything?
We should leave this room before she comes looking for us.
yeah, let's we can do a discussion a couple sewers down.
I don't want to stay here anymore, no.
So there is going to be a discussion once you're a significant distance away.
Yeah, probably for the best. Just so we're on the same page, I think might be good. Because I think me and Rick are on the same page, but I want to know what Alice is thinking.
What page are you on?
I don't trust him.
She's probably not as far. She probably would still trust them at least a bit. She's not distrustful of them yet. Anyway, they haven't. They said that they didn't take a deal, right?
No, they didn't.
We're considering the option.
We were amenable.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Still,
Open to consideration.
just because they didn't sign any paper doesn't mean they're not willing to work with the enemy. Which they've proven they are.
You don't think they? You don't think they'd come after us, though, right? I mean, we all got out together. I don't think they would do that.
I think that we have two sets of enemies, and they both are enemies of each other. So we can trust them halfway if they're only working with one of them. That's how math works, right?
Don't expect me to be putting my neck on the line for either of them now.
I don't think we have to.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, so I'll hear them out. At the very least.
Well, suppose you have more faith in people than I do.
Some people.
So,
Whatever.
similar question to Desmond and Andre. Do you guys head straight to the location, or do you stop and have a conversation?
It might take them a while to get to the position. And the city is on high alert now, so moving through it might be more difficult for us, considering that we're the ones they're looking for. What's the plan here?
Moving crowds, I guess. Hide in plain sight and hope for the best. That's just...
And the rifles?
Did I stash them away in the sewer? I can't remember.
I think I stashed them like in some alley.
Mhm.
That was it.
Yeah. I was gonna say that I don't think they were in the sewers.
No. If they don't get found, we go back for them. Give them a day, maybe two.
Right. Wait until the heat dies down.
Hope for the best, I guess.
Alright, well, we just finished our phone call, so we should probably get a move on.
It takes both groups a significant amount of time to reach the meeting place. One, because Rick, Alice, and Adrian are going through the sewer system, which is not necessarily designed for travel. It's not one of those things like it is in video games.
No.
Not designed for travel. However, it
What do you
can,
mean? Bloodlines taught me everything.
it can be done, but not comfortably, so it will take a while. However, above ground, it's not much easier, as both Desmond and Andre realize that whatever is going on, has somewhat reached the next level. The Pentagon was attacked sans maybe 2 months ago, at most. Now there's open assault rifle fire in the streets by people that are black ops, so technically they are the government, but they have no government credentials, obviously, deniability and all of that. So they just look like terrorist people. Strange reptilian cephalopod creatures appearing in the city. Safe to say, it's not full lockdown yet. However, you are starting to see military presence. Specifically for Desmond and Andre, you could probably start getting the idea that martial law is going to be in place pretty soon. If not today, within the coming week or so. However, if you guys could go ahead and give me dexterity plus stealth checks here to move through the city.
All of us are just...
Not the people moving through the sewers. They're not regulating sewer travel at this point.
Oh, 5 successes. Let's go.
Nice.
Exceptional.
Yeah. One.
Hey, one's all you need.
It's all you need.
Desmond's a little bit more skillful at it, but it doesn't really matter at this point. You guys arrive to the place first. It's not too long. I'd say 30 minutes to an hour. When a sewer grate, a manhole cover, pops up next to you. I would assume Rick or Adrian would probably be in the front.
Most likely. Yeah. I don't think we're making Alice lead.
I'll just say Rick is the first one out of the manhole cover. If you thought Andre smelled, these three smell worse, just because you guys have been in the sewers so much longer.
Crawling it sometimes, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there are also a lot of underground tunnels around DC, so that's also something we probably took some advantage of.
So, as Rick, Adrian, and Alice pull themselves out of the manhole cover, probably pulling it back into place, the cohort is finally back together again.
Hello. You guys look like you've been through the thick of it.
Yeah, Desmond, wizards are real, and they suck.
Wizards.
I told them, but they didn't believe me until they saw her.
I mean, is it a wizard, or is there like a different word, like witches and wizards? Is that? I don't think that matters. That's just semantics, but.
So how have you two been?
Well, he kind of just looks up to the, looks around to the city with the siren still blaring and the and references to the National Guard coming into DC. And it's like, we've been all right. We stashed the rifles, so we have those.
Oh We found a
What,
room that doesn't follow any geometry.
It's not a fun place to be. I hate that room. I never thought I'd wind up back to it. I didn't know it could be found that way.
But I'll also ask, what'd you do with my car?
Yeah, we had to let that go.
Yeah, yeah. There was no salvaging it.
Okay, well, where'd you put it? I still have the keys. He's gonna fumble around in his pockets.
Just indicate a direction.
Did we take his car, or did we
You
hotwired it? Okay, I hotwired his car.
Well,
I thought it was another
car.
His car.
The car that I just decided was mine.
But
Yeah, I think the car's gone.
Okay, well, that means I'm gonna have to go get another one. Thanks for ruining that too.
What exactly did we ruin?
The car?
No,
ruin that too. What else?
you run off. You leave us.
No,
We made our own escape. You left that car.
semantics again. Oh, Jesus.
We didn't leave you. You stayed.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't care.
We didn't leave you. You stayed behind.
Yes, but you took another car. We took that one when we needed to escape. You'd gone. You want the car? You take the car.
We walked. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
didn't take a car. We ran into the sewers.
I know. I was saying, if you wanted the car, you should have taken the car. But you didn't. You lied.
Because
Well, what kind of city is this that you can't just leave your car parked on the curb for a couple hours and it gets stolen by the time you come back?
well, he couldn't take the car because that man was in there that you kept talking to.
And was you just walked away? An opportunity, a chance to get back at those that did this to us. He offers it.
Him?
But you don't know if what he's saying is true. He may just want the same thing that everybody else wants. He just wants you to do more experiments and break you even more.
Well, then we'll kill him too. It's not really a bigger concern.
How?
The thing I tried to do and the rest of you couldn't move? Really, you think working with him's gonna help you get over that?
Everything that they did was under his direction. The one thing that they didn't listen to him with was they didn't lobotomize us. That's the only thing that they didn't do that he said to.
No, he said he wanted us lucid, right? I thought.
Yeah, he was saying he wanted.
Hold on. Sorry. When was he giving them instructions? I don't remember that. Sorry.
That was
sorry, I'm saying out of character.
That was only a flashback that Rick knows.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Desmond's gonna say.
Before, when we were still in the program.
You met him and he was there?
Well,
So is this-
I didn't meet him. I heard him talking with Gilson.
That means it's the same people that we're running from, right?
But maybe if he escapes with us. He has a means to get back. He seems to be like us.
He was talking to her like she was his employee or his subordinate.
So
If
what
that is the
change?
case, then it's likely he's trying to clean house, and he's trying to use us to do it, which ultimately, whether or not it's easier for us to go ahead and kill the people who we want to kill anyway, and he makes it easier for us to kill them, that's fine. After we're finished with that, we can just kill him.
Just is pulling a lot of weight in that sentence.
We'll figure something out. Right now, we don't really have a lot of infrastructure to work with in regards to a plan to actually take these people out. He does.
Well, we know where the building is where they're all working in.
We know the back way in, unless that's probably going to be covered up soon.
Well, I don't think anybody else besides your, I say old colleague, but I don't think it was a working relationship. I don't know what you, tormentor, maybe?
She was the one that ultimately did this to me.
She was the only
Created-
one that even knew we were in the building.
You hear a hiss in the back of your head, Alice. You mean did this to me, put me in something that was so insufferable.
I don't want you here any more than you want to be here. And I don't think she's going to let you out anytime soon. If she even can. So we'll just have to make the best of what we can.
Silence.
Either way, that back way gets closed up. There's apparently one in, gosh, what was it? Antarctica?
Now, I don't know if we were really there or if it was just confusing the satellites. I could never figure that out.
When did Antarctica become relevant in all of this?
When
Well, when I checked my phone when we were in underneath the building and it said we were in Antarctica.
the room that doesn't make sense that they were telling you.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a complicated story, and that's honestly, I don't think, relevant to this conversation. And even if it was, I don't know where to begin explaining it besides that woman apparently summons squid from space or something. I don't even know.
If you've seen Monsters Inc., that.
That's, I mean, doors open to different places. Yeah,
It's a bit of an old film, I
Can't say I'm familiar with it. And again, I've only seen 8 movies in my life.
You really like keeping track? You got a little notepad?
Just
Probably
experience.
instructional films.
I've seen them all within the last 3 years. When I broke out the last 2 times.
Really, you break out and the first thing you go do is see a movie?
I was enjoying my freedom. It seemed
Also,
fine at the time.
Movie theaters are great places to hide in. It's dark and no one looks at you.
There you go.
Are movie theaters still like open and what are we, 28 or something like that?
Oh, no. Not quite that far along.
Oh, 2025? I don't know.
Movie theaters are still relevant.
Should be.
I go to the movies.
Yeah, a couple of years, who knows?
2026.
That's only 4 years. Yeah, there's still movie theaters.
Yeah. Okay, well, never mind. Look, I think we're getting away from the point of this meeting. And that's the point. Why did you want to meet?
Because we need a plan of action. We need a direction on how we're going to tackle these people that we need to eliminate.
I was just planning on going in there and busting everything up.
Yeah, when have we planned anything before? Need I remind you the last time you decided to take matters into your own hands you call me and say that you're gonna kill someone?
I was not particularly conscious regarding that.
Whatever excuse you want.
But either way, one of the people who was on my list ended up dead anyway, so it seemed successful, regardless.
So, I'm guessing by all the sirens, though, we're not gonna have many more opportunities if we want to make moves openly.
And given how bad things are going with whatever this infection or disease or whatever's in our blood is affecting the surrounding area, no, I don't think we're going to have any more opportunities.
How many more
recently.
people are on hit lists still? Who's left, I mean? Whatever we do is going to be different if there's like one more person that we really want to put down, or if there's still a dozen.
Well, I know in regards to the conspiracy and the program itself, there's a brigadier general who I would really like to knock off. A lot of military, industrial complex, finances. He essentially is the face of the military industrial complex for the program.
That's not an easy target.
No, I don't imagine killing a general is gonna be particularly easy either.
We do that, and any other action we had ever hoped to do in this city is over.
They're already bringing in more police and stuff. That's just gonna bring the army down on us.
If I had my bloody car, we could just...
If they already aren't here, I've seen them in the street.
I think this is a one-way trip. This is the last chance to cut the head off the serpent, so to speak. But we go in this way. We don't come back. And to be honest, Alice, I think you've got a chance at life.
I have my little
We found
brother
your brother.
still.
Speaking of that, Andre, you would notice that the tattoo, or what was you thought might have been a tattoo on Alice's neck, now covers half of her head, wasn't it?
Yeah, it goes like. Although I don't know
Because
how much longer I can, stay with him if this keeps progressing. But I would like to spend as much time as I can.
I think
You hide, you spend the rest of your life living as normally as you can.
as long as you can, definitely. But think about this. They know about your brother because they know about you. If you want him to really be safe, we need to remove anybody who knows about his existence within this program.
Just recently enrolled into foster care on his own. His name, they have his name in the system now.
You know the games they play. Did he enroll himself, or was he picked up and that's where they put him? Make him part of, get him on registry addresses or whatever.
I think he went in himself.
Did he tell you that?
And it was also, from what you told me, surprisingly easy for him to get integrated with the system very well.
Yeah, and then they wanted to talk to me as well. Something about child protective services and stuff. They said they might charge me, so I don't know what they could charge me with. I was already a minor when I was kidnapped. I don't know what they have.
No, this whole thing sounds wrong. It sounds wrong. They're trying to scare you. Don't believe it. You get your brother back.
And then just run? No,
Well,
I
we'll
That
have
li-
you out
that-
as much as...
that life is not for him though. That was the whole point of him going into foster care, because when we were running, we were just living on the streets day to day in the dirt, scrounging for food. I don't want that for him. I want him to have a normal life, as normal as possible, one that I can't give him. But I don't want to let him go.
But I think we uncovered the truth of what happened then. And I'm not going to make a decision for you, but I think you have a chance to have a normal life.
I don't know exactly what it's like to be close with family. There's only mention of one particular family member that I'm aware of, and I haven't even talked to them yet because I'm so preoccupied with all this. But I think that if we do this, then you both really do have a real shot for as long as you can. It would be nice if I did reconvene with my aunt, but I don't really have much hope on that.
You guys are talking like you're not coming back. I know you said cut the head off the snake, but do you have to not come back?
I mean, ultimately, I would like to come back. Yes. I think we would all like to come back.
You're
That's
talking
the
like
dream.
it's the end.
Well, that's the dream, but unfortunately, quite often, dreams don't come true. Maybe we will, who knows?
You're saying it's like we're not coming back, like we're going to kill, threatening people. Which goes back to my other question. Seriously, who is left?
There's
All of the
Gilson.
other enforcers and whatnot that were chasing you are dead. This Dr. Gilson or whatever is just another pencil pusher.
The enforcers, you think that was all they had? You think they sent everything they had after us first time around?
I think they sent their best.
I don't think we've even scratched the surface yet.
Think what you want.
By the way, I don't think she's just a pencil pusher, or at least it's not really that simple. She's part of the infrastructure of the whole program. And so is the general. And whoever else we need to hit. I mean, I just have 2 more people I need to whack off. And only one of them is relevant to the program. The other one is... it's more of a vendetta.
But they're all still human. You say that like it's this impossible task. If
I
you're
never
so
said it was impossible, but it just needs to be done.
This depends
if
on
they-
who they have around them, I guess.
15 of their guards, all armed. They may all be human, but I still wouldn't fancy my chances.
And you two didn't meet her, but Jasmine Rush doesn't need guards. She's not high on the corporate totem pole because that's how she wants it, to keep a low profile. But if you come across her, you cannot. You just run. These two will tell you, just run.
Well, I mean, it took her quite a bit of time to do that summoning thing. I reckon if we had jumped her ahead of time. Still, I'm not sure we need to jump her. I mean, I understand you don't have a good opinion of her, but it sounded like she was working against one of our enemies, at least.
I don't know anymore.
Well, on the subject of our enemies and these two separate factions who are against one another, they still have their uses. I'm sure we might not sign on with one side or the other, because ultimately the loyalty here is in our own hit lists and who we need to and what we need to do to accomplish to make sure that we are safe. But they're going to kill each other anyway. Why not capitalize off that and make it easier to reach our targets?
Did either of you two get a weird phone call from those Zero guys?
No.
I didn't.
Or
Out of character, Desmond's not registering. He remembers getting a phone call, but he doesn't register that to the Zero people because he was in a high stress environment. But he remembers.
And he
has ID to remember.
Well, if you recall that conversation with them, maybe it's best they don't know. After all, the hour's probably going after those two anyways.
And
I recall what they said to us. And then do you have two more of us who are more cooperative with the plague?
Cooperative with the plague.
They had essentially almost threatened us. Basically, join us or die. It was kind of abrupt, I thought. If you're not with us, you're against us, they said. Something about the experiments they did to us involving this plague automatically puts us on their red list, sounded like.
They explained it to us anyway. What's happening out there is in our blood.
So by
whoever we side with, someone else is going to want us dead.
And either way, I don't care about this pandemic or the disease. I just care about getting these people.
What's the point of vengeance if there's nothing to look forward to afterwards, huh?
I look forward to them being dead. That's what I look forward to. I look forward to seeing their corpse.
Doesn't anyone look forward to seeing you?
Oh.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't know where my family is, and the only person I know, maybe, just maybe, who I'm looking for, I want to dead with along with all of them as well.
All right, so it sounds like we need both an attack plan and an escape plan.
Yeah, we do. Desmond just kind of exhales a little bit. So, what's the order of operation here? Who are we going to hit first?
I reckon we've only really got one final shot at doing this at all uninterrupted. Now, the only place we know that any of the old conspiracies probably hold up at is that corrections facility. So unless anyone else here has a better target,
is there a way that we can get everyone there all at once?
What do you mean? All of us, or
All of them, collate them there.
Oh, to make sure that everyone's in the same spot.
4, 5 birds with one stone.
Blow up the nest.
We need to make sure everybody's in the nest.
what do you want us? You want to steal a laptop or something from the place and send out a company email saying there's a meeting in the morning? Or I feel like that's a little easier said than done, gathering everybody in one spot.
But not impossible.
That's not impossible. I mean, if we can, within a span of 5 hours, yeah, we can go all across all of DC and just individually hit people. But by then, I imagine it would be a lot harder the more we kill. Getting everybody at one spot to kill them all at once seems optimal. If it's possible, of course.
There's one thing they all have in common: shared interest.
A shared interest in whatever their company or program, yes, but
In us,
yes, but what are you going to do? Walk up to the front door and say, I surrender? That's still not going to draw all of them near.
we're
not
not the
all-
only ones that they're looking for. There are more like us. They're just less cognizant. If we can find them, maybe we'll find them tracking them down at the same time.
As this conversation continues, sorry, Live. As this conversation continues, more sirens begin to sound out over the city. You come to a certain realization. Your time in this location is going to be short. You don't have the necessary resources at this very moment to lead a onslaught. With those two things in mind, how do you guys close this meeting, and where do you guys go once this meeting is over?
I'm probably going to go to a laundrette.
Okay. Alice?
Is probably gonna text her brother, ask to meet up, talk, spend time together.
Okay. Rick?
Probably going to, once it seems that this isn't going anywhere, I'm probably just going to head off and see if I can meet with Richie.
Desmond?
An idea does come to his head. I mean, if the city's going into martial law anyway, then that means they're going to be collating people together regardless. So he could independently also just try and see where these individual targets are going to be, whether in quarantine zones or ration centers, buildings for emergency housing, things like that. But also, I think he's going to want to, coming to that realization and reflecting on what he said himself about this final confrontation, he wants to try and reach out to Tessa. He knows that she's not in DC, but he's going to still try.
Adrian?
Adrian, I think he recognizes enough that whatever happens, the best lead that he's got on targets, information, answers, anything is probably still back at that correctional facility. So he's gonna make his way back underground and sort of just, for now, get his bearings and camp out near that boiler room again. Because, I mean, that's where the answers are. Might as well go back.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Deviant the Renegades, Children of the Plague, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, is there forgiveness for the murderer that birthed you?